Hey YouTube, my name's Justin, otherwise known as the Captain from Team Kirk RC or teamkirk.co.uk. Me and my friends, we are a group of club racers racing in the UK short course nationals. Started last season, did about 3 or 4 rounds, and we're doing a full season this year. I thought I'd do a quick video just to introduce myself and my truck, which is a Tekno RC Sct410.3, as it says on the box. Last year I was running this car, which is the Sct410, the original short course truck from Tekno. Mega piece of kit. My history in RC is quite short, quite brief. I started off with a trail truck at the back end of 2013, I think it was. I hadn't done RC as a kid, as most people do, so I kind of skipped all of that stage and went straight into the adult scene, for want of a better phrase. So yeah, I started off with a actual SCX10 trail truck, which I absolutely loved and adored it. Showed it to some friends, got them hooked. Some of them did it before, so they were like, okay, we need to rekindle this flame. So a friend of mine called Simon, Duster, friend of ours, he's part of the team. He got himself a Slash 4x4 ready to run, and it was like 45 mile an hour out of the box, and it was just crazy. So pretty much instantly I sold my trail truck and set about getting a Slash 4x4. It didn't take very long before we were introduced to some club racing at a local club, Silverstone Radio Control Model Car Club at Malton College in Northampton. There'll be a link in the description below. And so we took our trucks and we started having a little go down there. And before very long we started to get quite fast and competitive, so things went from one thing to another. And happy doing the club racing at this level this time, so we didn't really do a great deal in terms of upgrades and stuff. I put some castle kit in there and a few other bits and pieces, but did a lot of research. And then we joined the UK short course nationals, which was awesome fun. Started off with the Slash 4x4, made some upgrades to that in the end to get it going a bit faster on the track racing wise. And basically I found that my own ability soon caught up with the truck's capability, so it was time then to start looking for something else. So loads and loads of hours on the internet, probably 6 months or so of research, and I come across this, the Tekno RC. After lots of more research and conversations online with people all over the world, trying to figure out whether it was any good, whether it was worth taking the punt and getting one, I took the punt and I got one. Since then, I've never ever looked back, and I absolutely love the truck. It's a smashing bit of kit. It's so strong, so robust, and it's just fast right out of the box, so it does everything you want it to do. So that brings us pretty much up to now. I upgraded the 410 to the 410.3 in March of this season. Built the kit right away, did a couple of test days before the first round. Been in the A finals all season, and took my first national round win at Telford at round 3 last round, so that was awesome. Great fun, best the car's ever been in terms of setup. It's taken me a little while to get used to it and to figure out what you need to do to get it to drive the way you want it to drive and stuff. Here in the UK, for any of you guys overseas watching or in the States, we don't race on dirt, we don't race on clay much, not for this particular series. We race solely on AstroTurf, which is the green stuff that's often referred to as carpet. Mainly very high grip. Sometimes it isn't, sometimes it is, but as a rule, really high grip, so you tend to do some real crazy stuff with your tyres. I have some tyres down here in the box actually. This is a set of rear tyres that I used last weekend, and you can see I've taken one row of pins off of the outside. I have some other tyres just here which have got a bit more aggressive tuning on them. This one I've taken 3 of the outer rows and 2 of the inner rows off. The idea of that is, with short course racing, the high centre of gravity, you get a hell of a lot of grip, and it does tend to want to try and traction roll and throw you straight onto your roof, hence these little scratches up here, if you can see them in the glittery paint. But basically, yeah, the idea of tuning the tyres is to chuck the grip away, get rid of it, you don't want it. and then you have to sort your setup out to try and, you know, counteract the fact that you've taken grip away and stuff. But once you know where to go with it, it all works out pretty well, and they are fast. So onto the Tekno Sct410.3. I don't know what happened to point 2, but who cares, because this one's awesome. Firstly, onto my body shell. This is the J Concepts Illusion High Flow, with some modifications, not necessarily modifications, but a little bit of light tuning to help out with the airflow. You'll see I've got some holes in the front vent there. The reason I went for holes instead of cutting it out is for strength. They do take quite a lot of abuse, these cars, and they do land on their roof quite a bit, so you want them to stay in one piece as long as possible. My first shell this season was a different shell, which is over here somewhere. I can see it. Oh, there we go. It's on my little boy's truck. You see, this one I had to repair quite a bit, mainly due to all of the crashing and all of the rubbing that goes on. You can see I did do some big cutouts there. It did not help the life of the truck at all. In the end, we went down the repairing route with the scrim tape or drywall tape and shoe goo technique. Somebody introduced me to this idea at the track and said, why didn't you do that? I said, I don't know, and that's because we didn't know about it. One of the things about being a newbie, you pick stuff up, and this new shell, Pete and I, or the stuntman and I, we've both attacked it with the shoe goo and the scrim tape right off the bat. So this one's done well, one full round and a fair bit of bashing, and it's still absolutely fine, so it does the trick. Showing you the inside real quick, you can see the scrim tape and the shoe goo in selective areas, mainly in the front, the wheel arches or the wheel wells, and around the rear side of the chassis cab, if you want to call it that. So they're the areas that tend to be quite weak. Also at the back end here, make sure you get plenty in there. That's always useful. Just set that down. So onto the truck real quick. Sct410.3 electronics. I'm running the RX8 Gen 2 speed controller and the Pro 4 HD 4-pole 550 motor. This is the 4300 kV flavour. Rev to about 33,000 RPM max. Plenty of poke, plenty of power. Usually I only run it at about 65-70% current limit because of the high grip tracks. Here they're fairly small compared to some of the other stuff, not like the massive 8th tracks, so you tend not to need quite so much legs on it. So we go usually for about a 16 or a 17 tooth pinion, something like that. New things on this truck that weren't on the old one. You have, it's a bit dark in there, but you do have lightened diff out drives right through on all 3 diffs, so that's front, centre, rear. U-angled gearbox in the rear to reduce the angle of this rear dog bone. The previous truck there was a much steeper angle, so the pins on the ends of the dog bone drive shaft would wear quite significantly fairly quickly, so this little design change is functional. They've got they haven't gone for metal cross pins in the diffs this time to try and reduce the rotational mass. I've also gone one step further and replaced the stock tapered aluminium drive shaft for the optional drive shaft from the previous Sct410. Reason for that is I had one in the box, and then the original kit one got a bit damaged with some stones that stuck in the front, so I took that out and replaced it with this one. Before I did that, I weighed it. Interesting to find that this was actually 2 grams lighter, so that helps also with the reducing the rotational mass. Different wishbones, front and rear. They're now flat on the bottom side. Lean that up for the light. You can see they're now flat. I mean, they're super tough, same as the old ones were. Different droop screws now. The droop screws, the heads actually come down through the arms and rest on the chassis instead of the base of the thread. Just, you know, a little bit more hardware and stuff like that, so it should help. I have the optional air guards fitted. These help to stop air get underneath the body shell and helps reduce with parachuting on the big jumps and stuff. Excuse me. You'll see I've actually got some cutouts there and in the same spot on the other side. Yeah, so the reason that we do that is so that we can actually fit the EB48 body shell onto the car with the air guards fitted. Had to modify it slightly. You see we've got a notch out there, and then you can see it fits down the gap, and it's just fixed on with some Velcro just under there. Wicked piece of kit for anything where it's a bit dirty, a bit wet, particularly the AstroTurf tracks that we run on. When they get wet, they are crazy bad for chucking sand everywhere, so you don't want that getting in the electronics. So body shell is a real must. You know, it does the trick. Holds itself on there quite tight too. There we go. Take that off of there like that. So yeah, other upgrades which I've made to the truck. Got the Extreme RC centre diff mount. It's got a bit of a wrecked spur gear at the moment. I have a replacement coming from DMS Racing. Did some demonstration runs at the British Grand Prix, and it was outside on the tarmac, so there's lots of little stones and chip-ins, and they got in there and munched away at my drive shaft. Sorry, at the spur gear. In terms of setup changes, nothing major really, just a bit of ride height adjustment. Haven't changed the stock spring positions or shock positions or anything like that. It's all standard. I have the Tekno rear mud guards. On the back I've gone up one spring rate. In fact, I've gone for the pink rate spring on the rear, which I think is +1 on the chart from the standard. Still running the plastic shock cartridge caps on here because they haven't broken yet. On the front you see I'm running the yellow spring, and also you may notice on here we actually have the aluminium upgraded shock cartridge cap. The reason for that is I had a bit of a crazy bashing session after the last races with my little boy, and I broke it, so we've replaced them with some stronger aluminium ones. A very robust truck, super fast right out of the box. Setup wise, you've got all the adjustment you'll need. You've got sweep and kick up at the front, that kind of thing. You've got Ackerman, cam bar, toe, all of the usual roll centre and all of that. Same on the rear end. You've got wheelbase adjustment. It's a little dark, you can't really see it very well. Let's do these in the daytime. You have a series of washers before and aft of the main hub here, so you can adjust the wheelbase of the car. You've got the all standard camber link adjustment and stuff as well, all inside. Usual stuff really. Again, running all the standard shock positions all round. Literally just changed the springs and adjusted the ride height, and then done some tyre tuning, and that seems to get it just where it's at. Won me the round last time round, so that was all good. Coming up this weekend, we've got round 4 of the Short Course Nationals over at Balton Raceway. It's another new track for me and the boys. Never been there before, so we're going to try and head up on Saturday, get set up, bit of practice, that sort of stuff, and see if we can just get the car, you know, somewhere near ready for Sunday. I now no longer over practice on Saturdays, because what I found was I ended up having to struggle with setup on Sunday, because generally on a Saturday when I'm more relaxed, the car feels better. Conditions are usually better as well for some reason, because we're racing from, you know, there in the middle of the day instead of first thing in the morning when it's a bit moist and stuff. And then on Sunday I get to the track and we're racing away, and it just doesn't feel the same as it did before. So I spent the whole time chasing yesterday's setup, which is obviously bad news. Change of strategy at the last round, which is what I did. I did 2 packs for practice just to get the car somewhere near, and then went for it on Sunday. And that seemed to make the difference. I didn't worry quite so much about chasing the setup from the day before. And it did the trick. So if you're looking to get yourself a Tekno truck, go online, hit up teamkirk.co.uk, check out our Facebook page, Team Kirk RC. Like and subscribe on YouTube. There'll be more videos coming soon. Been meaning for a while to get my voice on video. If you're really unlucky in the future, you might get my face too. Also, check out DMS Racing and X Factory UK, or your local model store, for all Tekno parts. The new buggy's just come out too, the EB48.3, which is awesome. Same deal. It's the upgraded version of the original. So the original refined, lighter and better setup right out of the box. So until next time, people, I'll try and find some interesting things to do some videos on. If you have any interesting topics you want me to cover based on this truck or anything to do with the racing side of stuff, hit me up on any of the social media platforms or in the comments below, and we'll see if I can fit time in to get something done. In the meantime, I'm going to go away. I'm going to wait for my batteries to charge because they're nearly done. I'm going to have a couple of beers, chill out, and get ready for the weekend. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.